Hi, and welcome everyone to our weekly broadcast. We're here with Florida Closing and Escrow and BOW, Brokers Opens World and Tours Worldwide. We're here to help increase your success and provide you with all the latest updates. And we provide title and closings in most locations, including our office, curbside, any location we needed, as we have mobile closers. We're also paperless, wireless, digital, and remote. We could do online notarizations. We have most languages, and we structure deals to close. And we include expert legal services and attorneys, John Iowanu and Anthony Bauza. And we include escrow, answering any questions, addendums, and we do LLCs at cost and more. So we're here to help you to close more deals. So let's start with some good news. I know pertaining to COVID, the feds will be providing, I believe, a $25 billion pandemic rental aid relief. If Anthony, you want to elaborate on that and any other news with the moratorium and the stimulus.
Right. So, there is an initiative called the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and it's a $25 billion federal rescue effort to help the millions of Americans who are months behind on their rent and utility bills. It's estimated that nearly 10 million Americans are behind on their rent and owe a combined $57 billion in rent. So this program started releasing funds on January 20th to all 50 states. Local officials will then funnel these funds to cities and counties that will establish the rental assistance program. I believe Miami-Dade County is in the process of establishing theirs. There'll most likely be an online portal where applications will be accepted. And interesting to note is that either the renter or the landlord, with the renter's permission, can apply for these funds. And the funds, if approved, can pay up to 12 months of overdue rent, including late fees, and the next 3 months of pending payments. And the funds will go directly to the landlord. The program is just starting, so we have to wait to see how the individual localities, the county and the cities handle the application process. But basically, it'll just be a simple documentation. If you're eligible for unemployment or you've been affected and you have an eviction notice, all of these documents can be submitted in order to qualify for the program.
Okay, thank you. And when, again, was the moratorium on evictions extended to?
So the initial moratorium was set to expire on January 31st, and with the executive order, that was extended now to the end of March.
Okay, great. All right. And as you know, the pandemic has fueled a market that's paused for a bull run in 2021. Existing home sales have climbed 0.7% per CNBC in December 2020. Miami was also named the most glorious state in the U.S. And that is probably because you get more house for your money, lower taxes, more outdoor space, the great weather, closeness to family, etc. And some recent sales include the developer of Arte, Surfside, closed on 2 big sales the same day, a duplex villa for $16 million and a 4-bedroom condo for $10.2 million. And it's rumored that Ivanka and Jared are reportedly renting there while their home on North Bay Road is being built. And this is a 12-story building in Surfside. Okay, also Miami World Center, or the Block F East, has broken ground on a multi-level retail building, which has been called a jewelry box by its architect. And it will be next to the under construction Citizen M Hotel, where there'll be 78,264 square feet of retail and 135,208 total retail space. It's also been speculated that Microsoft might be moving to Brickell. And the tech company Plug and Play is supposedly opening a permanent office in Manor Commons. In addition, Phil Collins is finalizing the sale of a waterfront Miami Beach mansion valued at $40 million, once owned by J.Lo. And as you know, Chris Bosh also had purchased a home in Miami Beach for $15 million. The penthouse at the Ritz-Carlton Residence Miami has sold for $15 million. And a deed to a mansion alongside Sunset Lake sold for $17.68 million to a trust connected to a Chicago biotech investor. Also, the PayPal co-founder is a buyer of a Miami Beach mansion on Venetian Islands. 2 waterfront adjacent properties totaled at $18 million, which sold in 2005 for $5 million. Also, Palm Beach, as you know, is on fire. Home sales skyrocketed in the fourth quarter. Lakeside House, built in 2016, has just sold on Billionaires Row for $40.7 million. Tommy Hilfiger has sold his Connecticut mansion for $35 million to move to Palm Beach in a $45 million estate. Single-family homes in the fourth quarter were up by 300% year over year in Palm Beach. Also, a trust associated with Sylvester Stallone in December was reported that he paid $35.375 million for an estate on the East End in Palm Beach. So there's been $2.4 billion in sales volume in 2020, and the average sales price is $20 million. So things are definitely on fire in Palm Beach, and condo sales are not as robust, but fierce competition and ballooning prices are sending many to purchase condos instead, and the demand for larger apartments has in fact increased. Millions are fleeing New York and California to go to Florida, Texas, and Ohio. And again, fleeing urban areas often because they're looking for lower cost of living and because of the work and schooling at home. Anything you want to add, John, to more of the good news?
Yeah, actually a surprising number. Almost 16 million people in the U.S. moved out of urban areas, with New York City topping the list. That's from between February and July of 2020. Over 20% of companies making over $3 billion are doing their operations mostly remotely at the present time. So as you mentioned, Manor Commons announced it's going to partner with Plug and Play to establish a presence in downtown Miami's Flagler district. Plug and Play, as some of us know, is based in Silicon Valley and is the world's largest global innovation platform and investor. So actually the CEO says that Miami has always had the components to make it a global technology hub. And now that remote work has allowed its workers and founders to live nearly anywhere, we're seeing an acceleration of Miami's emergence as a leading city of tech. So that's good news for Miami. This marks the first Miami office for Plug and Play. They have obviously headquarters in Silicon Valley, but they also have in cities of Paris, Tokyo, Chicago, and Shanghai. So Miami is going to be added to our list, and that's great news. What basically it does is it unites these promising startup companies with the world's impactful corporations that we have here in Miami. And that's going to drive investment, foster innovation, and secure collaborative partnerships across an array of verticals within Miami's tech ecosystem. So why we bring this up for realtors who watch us is the advertising opportunities, right? So we want to make sure that we're advertising in the Northeast, but also now we can start looking out west as these tech companies are going to be basically moving to Miami as well. So there's an opportunity for advertising in California and also Washington.
And I know Mayor Suarez is thrilled and doing everything possible that he can. And there's even been talks with Musk about building underground tunnels to compensate for some of the traffic issues that Miami has. And I believe we're going forward at all costs to try to become a biz and tech hub for people that are leaving other states. Okay, next question goes to Anthony. Some lessons were learned from 2020, including there's no such thing as too much toilet paper. What are some of the lasting lessons as we approach real estate and business for the years to come, and the biggest takeaways so that we can prepare for success?
Right. So there was a lot of lessons learned in 2020, many of which will have a lasting impact on how we approach real estate. For one, you definitely always have to stay up to date on the market. When everything changed last spring, there were lots of questions on everybody's mind. Nobody knew what was going to happen with real estate. There was frightening headlines. Everyone expected the worst about the housing market, but that didn't happen. What we learned was that we have to have our finger on the pulse of the industry and be able to relay information to worried clients. And those that did that last year were able to come out ahead. Staying on top of the latest market insights is and will always be extremely important. In addition, we also learned that a recession does not actually equal a housing crisis. Real estate had one of the best years it's had in decades last year. And unlike in 2008, when the real estate market actually caused the recession, housing has actually played a huge part in helping the economy to come back and get on its feet. And experts predict that they will continue to do so in the coming months and into this year. We also saw in 2020 a suburban shift. So the real estate trend was an urban to suburban shift, with more people looking for more space, better accessibility, fresh air, and 68% of agents noticed a moderate to significant shift. And nobody is really sure if this trend will stick around, but the increase in remote jobs could very well mean that it will carry through to this year. In addition, we've also learned that the pandemic didn't really slow the real estate market down. Buyer demand didn't slow down. It was more just the hot spring market was postponed to an even hotter summer market, which then led to a record number of sales for 2020. If we learned anything from that, is that we can't totally predict what the future holds, but the 2021 housing market forecast does look promising, and it looks to be a continuation of a 2020 that did end surprisingly well. And most importantly, what we did see and realize from 2020 is that the home has never been more important. Especially now when the home doubles as an office space or a virtual school for children, an exercise gym component. People are very concerned in the home and making sure that it will meet all those new needs that they have. So these are definitely lessons that we went through last year, and hopefully in this coming year, we could use them to go forward and have a great 2021 as well.
Okay, thank you. What are 7 realities that your buyers and sellers should prepare for in 2021? Real estate boom last year. People sought more space, amenities, new jobs required relocation, and remote work from home and schooling from home. What will 2021 look like? What market shifts? And John, if you can fill us in.
Sure. Yeah. Last year, the real estate market boomed as we saw. People were looking for more space, amenities, and new jobs that required relocation. So, what's going to stay the same? What's going to change? Basically, the first thing that's going to stay the same is low inventory, high demand, and multiple offers. It's definitely a seller's market out there right now, and it's going to continue for the foreseeable future, particularly in the suburban and resort areas that offer more space and a lifestyle with an abundance of outdoor amenities. So if they're not local, be ready to give video tours and make an offer sight unseen. And buyers will likely not have the luxury of having numerous properties to choose from, and they will need to be ready with multiple offers. So as an agent, make sure that you make them aware of this and be ready to coach them through that reality. Number two is the market won't pay top dollar for dated or old homes. Even though the market is hot right now, buyers, they don't want to renovate. They don't have actually the time to renovate. Buyers want ready to move in homes, especially if they're moving in from an area out of town. They want these homes sooner rather than later. Basically, what they're looking for is updated kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, and structural areas like the roof and HVAC systems. So if you have a seller that has a property that's sitting on the market because it's a little bit dated or old style, you might want to advise them that buyers are not really looking for this type of home. And if anything, they might want to consider renovating. But if not, then that comes to number three, which the buyers for these types of properties are mainly going to be investors. These are investment opportunities for contractors who actually, since there is a lack of inventory, they can basically renovate these properties, update them, and then put them back on the market. Number four is the transactions will become increasingly accelerated as well. These buyers, they're serious buyers, and when they move, they like to move fast. They're moving from another state to Florida. They've made the decision. They're ready to go. So the transactions are going to be quicker. The days of showing 20-plus homes have dwindled due to the low inventory, so that's actually good news for you realtors. But be ready to move fast. Be ready to have the contracts ready. And the good news with us is as a title company, we're fully staffed. We're ready to go. We're actually located in Sunny Isles. We're the only Sunny Isles beach title insurance company around. So we'll be ready to go. And if it's a cash deal, we'll be ready to go within 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how quickly we can get back the searches from the city. Number five is the lease back and post occupancy after closing options. Flexibility, it can be a big win for a sale. If you have a buyer who's flexible on moving in, that's actually advantageous to the seller because some sellers might not be ready to move right away, or their place that they're moving into might not be ready. So many sellers will want to take advantage of maybe a post-closing occupancy addendum with the buyer. So if you have a buyer who actually is a little bit flexible, make sure you present that in the offer and speak to the listing agent about that to make your offer more advantageous compared to others. Number six is appraised values may become increasingly challenging. Now that we're getting a lot of acceleration of home prices, there's going to be actually some over-evaluation. So one way as a realtor to protect your buyer is preparing an appraisal contingency. These can be very important. What this does is it says there's an addendum to the contract. You can find it in Form Simplicity that says this contract is contingent on the appraisal appraising for the purchase price. If it doesn't appraise, then the buyer can cancel and get their deposit back. It also gives opportunity for renegotiation. So appraisal contingencies are great addendums I want to consider adding to the contract. And then finally, number seven, overcrowded and overvalued markets. As more people are coming, some of the markets are getting overcrowded. with traffic and schools and things like that. So be ready if you have a certain person looking in a certain area to tell them that, hey, there's some backup options here, some backup homes, not exactly in this area, but very close to it, that are less crowded, and you might be able to get a sale that way.
Okay, all very good suggestions. Thank you. There are 7 reasons homeowners want to move, and agents who manage to get ahead of the trends and position themselves in the new reality will be the most successful. The pandemic has changed how many think about their current living situation and provided the impetus to initiate change. After COVID, stress and frustration reduction became a priority, as did relocation, which factored into many people's plans. So, Anthony, what are the 7 top reasons why people will want to move?
The first reason is people are just sick of their home. So being forced to shelter in place has quickly accentuated many property shortcomings, especially for those living in smaller dwellings. Consequently, competition for single family homes is off the charts. Larger yards and outdoor amenities are all things that people are looking for. Flex spaces that can be used in different ways, separate home office that can be isolated, a separate exercise space is also in demand. Another reason people are want to move is the pandemic and the shelter in place also had lots of people living in close proximity with each other, partners, husband and wives. And there's been an uptick in divorce. There's been a 34% increase, according to one report. And so you have couples who plan on splitting and selling existing homes, and that has an impact. People are, as I said before, shifting from the urban to the suburban. It's no longer necessary to work, drive into a community, have a long commute, live in a high density area with the newfound ability to work from home. So a growing number of people have decided they could move to a more suburban area and work from home. Traffic and congestion is another reason that also has to do. High home prices and high cost of living is why you'll also see buyers moving out of larger cities and relocating to more suburban areas. Air quality happens to be another big reason. There's growing evidence that relocating to areas with cleaner air can reduce respiratory issues. So many owners are looking to move to areas with better air quality. More recently, there have been individuals who are looking to move to rethink their locale and where they live in light of recent riots that have taken place or conflicts in their areas. Some residents have begun searching for what they consider safer locations, moving to parts of the country more aligned with their political perspectives. And lastly, people are moving due to growing state legislation and taxation. Over-regulation, increasing taxes leaves people to relocate to regions where there's more lenient business regulations and no state taxes. One of those places being Florida, of course. So going forward, agents who manage to get ahead of these trends and position themselves with this information should be successful with their clients who are looking to move for one or any of these reasons.
Correct. And, politics also have been at play with lockdowns and so forth, and that has affected people's choices as well. Okay, number 6 is a question for John. What can Miami give to techies that San Francisco can't? I know warm weather and low taxes are 2 of the reasons. So if you will elaborate.
Those are big. Actually, the weather in San Fran's pretty good, but the low taxes, the reasonable prices for homes is good. I was talking to someone from San Francisco actually yesterday, and their big issue is fires now. They're worried about fires. Thankfully, we don't have that here with our palm trees. Also, they have earthquakes there. We have hurricanes, but she was telling me, well, at least you know when the hurricanes are coming.
You could prepare, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of obviously advantages for Miami. And the new work from home policies, like from Twitter and Facebook, means that their employees can work from anywhere. So a lot of them are considering moving out of California. And companies like Pilotar headed to Denver, HP, Oracle, and Tesla are going to Texas. A lot of these tech companies are moving out of there and going all over the world, but also a lot of them are coming to Miami, as we mentioned earlier. What another positive we have is our mayor, Suarez. He's all in too. He was speaking with a venture capitalist on Twitter some time ago, and basically he was like, "Yeah, we're all in here, and let me know whatever Miami can do to help any of the relocation that you guys are thinking of doing." So the mayor's in. That's going to help Miami grow. And really, the big thing is, as you mentioned, just the other option of doing the underground tunnel. Elon Musk mentioned that he might be able to do that. So there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of options here, but it's a good time to be here in South Florida. And actually, it's probably a good time to be a realtor. So as I mentioned earlier, consider advertising out west. There's a lot of opportunity there.
Okay, thank you. And again, we can assist you with your title, closings with the legal included, and marketing tools, including BOW, brokers, opens, and tours worldwide. Yesterday, we did a great live broadcast from Southwest Ranches, and you could be in any location, and we can simulcast on multiple channels and help you get increased viewers. So this tool is very effective for those that can't attend in person. And also in addition, we have tools such as the 3D tours. We have experts that will conduct those for you with tags and help market that as well, so that if clients want to see more details, also immersion tours, virtual realty tours, VR, and virtual staging. We have drones and other professionals to help you with any real estate photography needed as well. So we are here to assist you from contract to closing. And as John mentioned, we're the only title company in Sunny Isles. And we're here to assist you from contract to closing. And any clients that need hand-holding, if they're first-time buyers, we're very happy to provide any assistance as needed. So floridaclosing.com, and we hope to increase your success in 2021. And we hope everyone stays safe and healthy. Anyone want to add anything? Okay, thank you, and tune in next week. And we also have more requests for the live broadcast open. So if we can assist you with that, we're happy to as well. Thank you from Florida Closing and Escrow and BOW.